Hey, welcome back to Purposeful Living, where we are unleashing the purpose, seeing the vision, and achieving the goals that only God can give us the strength to achieve. Today, I want to talk to you about it being all up to the manufacturer. There's nobody else that gets to make the decisions but God Himself. You see, your purpose was the intent in mind when God decided that you were needed. That means that He chose only you, your DNA, your mama and your daddy, to be able to create you specifically for the needs of his kingdom, right? He chose you to be able to pursue and to achieve and to build things that he saw fit for you to do. Before the purpose, the manufacturer decides how you will move, how you will think, how you will create, how you will be, the little ticks, the tricks, all the things that are about you. Then he gave you the ability to do so. Everything was strategic for God when He chose and thought about you. Everything was strategic in your purpose when He thought about you. You're sitting there looking around, looking for a reason as to why you're here, why you do this, why you do that, why you're not like this person, why your hair is this color, why your eyes are this color. Why do you think this way? Why are you talking this way? Why are you being this way? Why do you sit this way? Why do you look this way? We all have these conversations with ourselves time and time again as we work on developing our relationship with God, but work on developing our relationship with ourselves, because you see, your purpose is your foundation. Your purpose is the realization that you were made for more. It is the foundation for you to bear the weight, to be able to release the fears, release the doubts, and release the distractions, and to be able to lean in to know that God created you for a reason. And every day that you're on this side of heaven, that means you still have a purpose to fulfill. Nothing excludes you from your purpose, not even your excuses. Your excuses do not excuse you from the purpose that God gave you. You have a reason for being here. You have a reason for doing things. We need you, and it is not the time to give up because of the fact that you feel inadequate, because of the fact you feel insignificant, because of the fact that you're tired. The reason you're tired is because you're not actually doing the things that the manufacturer aligned for you to do. You're showing up, you're giving your all. I made a video a few weeks ago talking about you ask and it shall be given, seek and you shall find, knock and the door shall be open. It does not mean that you beg for a place at the table. It does not mean that you beg for people to stay in your lives. It does not mean that you beg for somebody to see your value. It does not mean that you squint to see the potential in somebody else. You squint to see yourself in these places. You squint to see the vision for somebody else in your life. It doesn't work that way. And it definitely does not mean that you bam at doors that you don't even need to be at. Honey, if you knock and they don't say come in, chances are you on the wrong street in the wrong neighborhood at the wrong time. It's time that we stop doing things trying to fit into places that we're not supposed to be in. We were manufactured a certain way. We were thought of a certain way. We were created a certain way. And trust me, it is hard trying to find your tribe, especially as you're trying to navigate this life. Okay, this life is hard enough on its own, but when we're trying to fit in places we don't belong, when we're trying to do things that we shouldn't be doing, when we're trying to be a person that pleases others and yet we feel unfulfilled and our heart aches on a daily basis. Typically, I've dealt with depression, and I was so far into depression that I'd considered taking my own life. And I haven't really talked about that in detail, but it took me a while to get back to myself. But that was because I was trying to go out of the line alignment with what the manufacturer called me to do. I was trying to be adequate with the people on this earth and align with what they thought of me versus what God created me to be. There's two different things: being made by this world and being created by God. He is the manufacturer of all. He is the one that sits high and looks low. He is the one that chose you. You were chosen, and we constantly run around here wanting to be chosen in relationships, want to be chosen on jobs, want to be chosen by friends, want to be chosen by social like groups, want to be chosen in business, want to be chosen in all these spaces. But the reality is, you were already chosen by the manufacturer before you even got here, because he had the intent of you in mind when he made you, right? And it's important to know that he makes no mistakes. Then the thinking about you, in the timing of your birth, in the development, even though you might think right now has no purpose, it does. Even the hills, valleys, the mountains you have to climb, the faith, the tearing down, the building up, it all has purpose in creating you and for you to reach the great destinations, the great blessings, and the great things that He has for you to obtain and to do on this side of heaven. We get so caught up in trying to control everything, trying to alter everything, trying to delete a lot of things. We deal with rejection, we deal with the heartaches, the headaches, the pain. But truly, most of the time, truth be told, it's because we're not aligning with the purpose of the manufacturer. We're always having these plans, these options, these goals, but honey, God's purpose prevails all, right? And it's important that we remember that. I want to give you an example of Tide. We all know the washing detergent. The main purpose of Tide, as it was invented, was to clean clothes, right? Put it in the wash machine, be able to wash your clothes. But because it has that foundation of purpose, those inventors, those scientists, those manufacturers over there with Tide are able to have different visions. Okay, now, yeah, we have created this thing that has a purpose of cleaning clothes, but now I have a vision of taking it a little bit higher. I have the vision of actually being sensitive for those that are hypoallergenic or allergic to a lot of things. I have a vision of it not only washing clothes, but washing and removing dirt in cold water. I have a vision of not just washing clothes, but removing stains. I have a vision of not just washing clothes, but now removing stains and having an odor blocker with the OxyClean and all the other things that it has. I'm giving this example because I'm letting you know it does not change its purpose. The purpose is still there, but the visions change and they're altered sometimes in order to become its best self. But once they have the vision, they had to still go into the laboratories to create the results, right? So it always takes the purpose, the foundation, the vision, the blueprint, and the goals to create results. And it's important that you know that even though you feel like you're running from yourself, you may not know your purpose, you may not know what you're made to do. The manufacturer knows what you're made to do, and you have to go back to him to find out. You may have to go time and time again. You may have to break down the build over and over and over again. But I guarantee you, as you're building, the purpose never changes. That thing that burns inside of you, the thing that you want to change, the thing that you see fit to help with, that never changes. It's the visions that you see and the way you go about doing it. It's all about unleashing the purpose. It's all about seeing the visions, and it's all about achieving the goals that God has given you to achieve. Now, let me be clear. When the manufacturer made you, he knew that you would go through trials and tribulations. When the manufacturer made you, he knew that you will have naysayers. When the manufacturer made you, he knew that your visions will be like nobody else's. Your creativity will be like no one else's. And everybody that you're around may not understand. Not your mama, not your daddy, not your auntie, not your grandma. Sometimes it's between you and the manufacturer alone, because everybody doesn't believe in the dream until it happens. I'm quite sure when they were making the iPhone, they were like, why would we need this iPhone? We got landlines. I'm quite sure when the sewing machine was made, it was like, well, why do we need this when we've been using hand and it's been working just fine? Just because we already have something in place does not mean that you're not made to make it better. Just because someone else has had an idea does not mean that your idea does not advance and enhance the idea of someone else. It does not mean you do it alone, but it also means that you find the correct tribe in order to be able to do the things that the manufacturer has given you specific instructions on how to do it and when to do it, right? Your purpose is inseparable. You cannot run from it, nor should you. You cannot run from yourself. You cannot run from your thoughts. You cannot run from your passions. You run to them. You run to God. You run to yourself and figure out how to make these things happen on this side of heaven, how to be creative on this side of heaven, how to be your best authentic self on this side of heaven, because you were created for greatness. And please don't let anybody tell you different. He created you with intent. He created you with reason. He created you with significance. He created you with purpose. He created you with love. He created you with kindness. He created you with so much, and he thought about you every step of the way. He knew that this world needed you. He knew that we need you. He knows that your smile is like no other. He knows that your descriptions are like no other. He knows that your perspective is like no other. He knows that your faith is like no other. He knows that your abilities are like no other. And it's time that you connect with the manufacturer so you can get to work on this side of heaven and produce the great things that only he equipped you to do. Have a great day. Talk to you soon. Bye.